Hey everybody, time for a quick detour from the how and into the what. Respell has several steps to help you get work done, and we're going to be talking about the most popular ones in the editor. So we'll have a few deep dives into the more interesting ones in later videos, and I'll call those out in this one. But let's start the tour, and I have a spell open with a couple inputs already in there. So I have a name, phone number, and email. Now, if I want to add a new step, then I have a few options. Look at these different categories. We have flow, which is for tools that are built to either work with Respell, like the display step that just shows things back to you. You have condition, which helps you either stop your spell at a certain point or only continue if something is true. And then human review, which is an interesting one built to let you bring humans into the mix. So we already looked at display. Let me look at condition really quick. If I pop that down, I can add a path by clicking on this here. And if I say, let's say if the email equals matt@respell.ai, then continue down this path. And so I can add in any steps afterwards and say like that. But then it will not go through the second path unless this condition is also true. There's also an AI mode as well. So if I want to say like if email is matt@respell.ai, AI can probably figure that out for you. So that's the condition step. Now let's go on to human review, also in the flow state. So this one is meant, you might have seen in previous videos that we have an inbox tab on the dashboard. That is where you'll see all the reviews that are pending for you. It will stop the spell when it hits in a human review, and it'll show you the reviewer instructions, the approval outputs, which are just things shown to you, just like the display step, and the review inputs, which are things that the reviewer can edit. I won't go into that right now. We'll have a later video on it, but just so you know that that's there. We have quite a few different text tools for you to work with unstructured text. So generate text with AI, we looked at that in the previous video. That helps you just write a prompt directly to an LLM, so no strings attached. Extract fields will let you extract information out of a certain input. So if I put in the full name input right there, and I want to get in the first name and the last name. So I'm going to add two here. I'm going to say this one is the first name of the person. And then this is a text, and then this is going to be the last name. I don't really need the description, I don't think, because it's pretty self-explanatory, but you could put it in there if you wanted. And then once I do this, I'm going to have field outputs, and that's going to be an object with, I'm just going to use it right here for reference. If I go there, we talked about converters in the last video, then I can get the first name or the last name out of it. So extract fields is extracting any fields you want out of some input. I can also give it some extra instructions at the end if there's some way to do it specifically. All right, so that's extract fields. Now, next thing is summarize text. That is just like generate text, but we already made the prompt for you. It's really good at summarization, so you can try using that. It's just, you don't have to write the prompt yourself. Combine text, this is mostly used as a placeholder. You can combine different types of text together. So it just has basically a text box, and so that can be used as a filler step. Then we also have classify, which is very similar to extract field. You specify the input, and then you can say what categories it should belong to. So I don't know, maybe if I had like a blog post and I had different categories I want to sort it into, like learning Respell, prompting techniques, growth features that we've tried out, then I could do that here, and it would give you just one of those classifications that matches it most closely. Our files, we have a lot of steps to help you convert between one type and another one. So for example, describe image is used for converting an image to, well, you can describe it or you can ask any question about that image. So that comes basically image to text, in a semantic way. Then you can also transcribe speech, that's audio to text to document, that is, well, text to document, text to speech, probably figure that one out. You have some workspace steps right here. This is working with our data sources feature. We'll talk about these ones in a later video. There's a lot more to these outside as well. And then generate image, text to image. Finally, we have document to text. This is a pretty popular one. If you have a document that you want to chat with or ask a question about, you can use this one to convert to text and then pass both of those into the generate text to, ask a question about it. All right, finally, we're on web and code and research agent, our old friend. You know how that one works. Search Google, read website. They do what they say. If you pass in a URL to a website, then it will grab all the text content out of it. And then we also have make API requests, which is very similar to read website, but for the developers out there, you can do a lot more with it. We support any type of HTTP method, and if you want to make a post request or work with an integration that we might not have natively, you can use this one as well. Similarly to make API request, we have these two for developers, which is query database. If you have a database exposed on the internet and you want to connect to it, then you can just pass in the connection string right there and write your query, and we'll run it for you in a read-only mode, so it's quite safe. Last one is custom code. So you can write any code that you want. In here we support JavaScript, Python. We run it in a safe container, so no worries about crashing your spell. If that doesn't work, it'll just error out. That is all the built-in Respell steps. We're always adding more, a couple every week, so let us know if you have any requests. You can always request a new step or integration right here with that. It just opens up the chat bubble and you can ask us directly. We'll get back to you pretty soon, the timeline. One thing I do want to call out, we're going to go through integrations more in depth in a later video, but you can use, for example, the bland step, which is a phone calling agent as well. And so when you connect your account, I already have mine connected here, then you can use this step to integrate and make phone calls with bland or any other integration. We have quite a few down here, so feel free to explore. And again, if you're looking for one that we don't have, you can always request it from us. All right, well, that's pretty much the entire tour. You can always request things in the chat bubble or in our Slack community or at support@respell.ai. Let us know. We'll get you a timeline pretty quick. We tend to be pretty fast to build these things. Later in the series, we're going to cover some of these more in depth, like the condition step and the research agent. But for now, in the next video, we're going to talk about using integrations with other services. We'll see you there.